Joe Rogan finally got a chance to sit down with Donald Trump in what could be described as one of the most historical moments in podcasting history. First of all, I gotta say that this was probably one of the easiest podcasts Joe Rogan ever had because we all know that Donald Trump really likes to talk. He's got this interesting technique called the weave, where he weaves different stories together and eventually gets to the point that he wanted to get at. Unfortunately, sometimes it does come across as a little bit of a ramble. But you gotta hand it to him. Donald Trump walked into the lion's den with this one. And I also gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised at how much energy Donald Trump actually had. I can't even hold a conversation for 5 minutes. This guy went on to chat for about 3 hours. Following the podcast, he actually went on to do another rally. Another thing that was quite impressive was how Donald Trump seemingly changed his approach at how he would chat with Joe Rogan. It was as if a fighter changing his strategies to deal with a certain opponent. Though sometimes he did devolve into what would seem like a good speech for a campaign rally. And an opponent it was. We all know that Joe Rogan isn't really a supporter of Donald Trump. He has supported Bernie Sanders in the past, and he's also supported RFK Jr. But to his credit, he kept things very calm, even when he was pressing Donald Trump to explain some of the strategies that he plans to use if he becomes president. One of these strategies was the strategy of using tariffs to pressurize countries like China. I myself needed some clarity on that, and I think it was good to see Rogan press Trump on the issue. Eventually, Trump got to the point where he sort of mentioned that tariffs can be used to pressurize other countries to build factories and industries within the US itself. But it would be nice for him to mention this stuff outside of this particular interview. That said, I haven't been sitting around and watching his full speeches on his rallies, so I can't really say if he's mentioned that on those occasions or not. Now, on the subject of industry, Joe Rogan mentioned to Trump his concern of how a lot of the technology that they use, such as their phones, is mostly manufactured and designed in foreign countries, and how it could be a bit of a security risk. During this conversation, I was surprised that Elon Musk was not mentioned, as I'm quite sure Elon Musk must have some ideas about how to grow the technological industry on US soil. Now, one of the things that I think was one of the most fun aspect of this whole interview was how Trump kept trying to connect and relate to Joe Rogan. It was actually crazy intelligent on his part. And the fact how he tried to use humor for it, and he got some genuine laughs out of Joe Rogan. There was one point where Trump was telling Joe Rogan about he knows that Rogan is not a Kamala person. He's not a Kamala person. And he goes on to say, I know that you're not a Kamala person. You're more of a Khabib person. And you knew the laugh from Joe Rogan was genuine, even if at some points it did feel like Rogan was like, I know what this guy is trying to do, but damn, he is good. He's funny. Also, at one point, I'm not sure what Trump did there, but he somehow managed to switch the interview around, and it was more like Trump interviewing Rogan instead of the other way around. And it was actually quite nice and peaceable. During these moments, however, we do see one of Trump's flaws, but I suppose some people might not think that way, is how he remembers so much. But there's just those little details which sort of make people doubt things about him. So like he would remember a fighter that was losing and then he made a comeback. But unfortunately he wouldn't remember the fighter's name. Now I literally have the same problem, so I'm not going to judge him too much. But I can see why somebody who might not know what he is talking about, or especially somebody who doesn't like him, might listen to that and think that Trump's just making things up. So it's a bit of a strange one. Now, personally for me, the interview really dropped off at the end. I think it was the last 20 minutes or so. especially when they were discussing the subject of the JFK assassination files and also UFOs. Now, Rogan rightfully asked Trump why he did not reveal everything about the JFK assassination while he was president. Disappointingly, it seemed Trump was trying to avoid this question a little bit. He tried to give some strange explanations, such as the people that were involved in the whole thing, they are still alive, and I think he might have mentioned they still have family around. At the same time, if he exposes the details now, are all of those people dead? Don't they still have family members who are still alive? So that was a bit of a disappointing situation. That said, I don't know. I'm quite sure there are more pressing issues in the United States right now than who assassinated JFK and whether UFOs exist or not. Now, personally, I did enjoy the conversation quite a bit, and I do recommend people listen to it, but 3 hours is quite a time investment to listen to the conversation. I was lucky enough to be on a long drive, so if you're somebody who drives a lot, then it might be okay to play it in the background while you're doing your thing. Now, overall, the conversation was a little bittersweet for me because I think this should have happened in the 2020 election. People don't seem to remember how mad the hype for that election was. Trump on Rogan 2020 would have been one of the biggest events ever. I'm also very saddened by the fact, I'm not surprised, but I'm saddened at how YouTube tried to suppress this particular episode. 33 million views in 2 days, and it's not even in the trending. I mean, think about that. I think if Trump becomes president, he needs to do something that he should have done when he was president before, which is remove some of these special protections that social media companies and YouTube has. They basically call themselves, they say that they're just platforms for public, they're not publishers. And that way they get financial gains from the government, even tax reliefs. But at the same time, they really control a lot of this things that get published, and even publish their own content. So that's one of the things you got to think about. So yeah, we definitely need those protections away from these companies so they stop acting like these digital dictators. Now, Trump did say that he wants to do this again, which sounds absolutely amazing. And you got to hand it to him. He's definitely put a lot of work in this campaign compared to Kamala. What I really want to see in the future, and how crazy would it be if you get that podcast with Donald Trump and Alex Jones and the likes. That would be so crazy and hilarious. I just want to see that. Just want that entertainment value again from Joe Rogan. So did you guys get to listen to the podcast? What did you think about it? Leave your comments below and hit that like button. Subscribe to Cerebral Gaming and support us on buymeacoffee.com/cerebral. And if you want to see more long format reviews, please leave a comment below. Thank you. God bless.